What's up guys, this is Pratham here, and in this video I'm going to show you why you should not invest your money, especially if you are young. You should not waste your time into investing and all these things. I have never invested, and many things are there. I have written a few points, and you'll really like the points which I have made, which I've written down here. The thing is basically, like, recently I came across a shitty moronic Reddit group, and this Reddit group's name was something like FIRE. Basically, the full form of that is financial independence, retire early. And I just basically came across this Reddit group, and I was just, it was the one of the most cringiest thing I have ever come across recently in my entire life, I feel. And I really thought to make this video because a lot of people are like unaware, and it's kind of like blind leading the blind, and since I became like basically a millionaire very young at my in my life. Like, I became a millionaire at around 22 years of age, and I thought, like, I'm way more than qualified to, like, I feel like qualified enough to, to teach you this subject, because I have never invested in my life. Okay, I have never invested in stocks. Yes, I did invest, like, when I started making money. Like, I basically make more money than anybody I know, and yeah, like, I drive the cars which nobody drives, and the people. And first of all, like, see, the thing is, like, why a little bit brag here and there is because of credibility, right? You need to know, like, that what I have to say is authentic. It is from experience. I've been working already 10 years now. I'm 26, and I've been working since 2016, so like almost 10 years now. 9+ years basically in my life I have worked, and that too in my marketing agency. So, I've never worked a job, by the way, in my life. So I just started, like, started running a marketing agency itself. So I have a few points basically, guys, to tell you why you should not invest any money into stocks, and why you should not, like, waste. First of all, like, in India, like, people have committed suicides by, like, investing, or like by losing money into intraday trading and all that crap. And like, you must be seeing, like, even if you open any platform, they literally warn you that, like, it's very risky. More than half of the people don't even make a single profit ever in their life. So, all these things is like, that's why. Because, see, the thing is, guys, let me tell you one thing. Money is only earned through hard work. Okay, like, especially, for example, I have been running a company since like 9 years now, and that's how you make real money. Yes, you can make money by doing a job, but I never did a job. But the point what I'm gonna make, the points what I have here, it are amazing. So, like, if you don't want to waste 20 years of your life, or if you don't want to waste like 25 years or 30 years of your life being miserable, you should just you should be humble, and you should watch this video. And if you think you know everything, you're not at my level. You don't own a 911. You don't. And now I'm buying a Lamborghini Huracan. I'll be the youngest in the entire country to buy a Lamborghini Huracan as well. I'm already the youngest 911 owner, the Porsche 911 owner in the entire country, which is the world's most populated country. So what I have to say to you is real. It's from my own experience, and especially when it comes to living life, I think I'm living an incredible life. And I don't know anybody who's living the life as great as I have been living. Because, see, I mean, the thing is, like, you have to make your own money. First of all, if you are inherited, and you will just not get the high. You cannot buy a high. Like, your parents, even if they give you 10 crores, you cannot get that high what I get in my life. Like, when I make money, like, when every month I get my every month, basically, I see how much money I made the last month. It just produces a high. Like, you get a kick from it, basically, in your brain, and it's just incredible. So if you want to, like, really live that kind of a life that you are happy about yourself, first of all, like, first, okay, let me just explain to you, like, why about this Reddit Reddit stuff, this Reddit shitty group and this moronic people of Reddit. Let me just tell you a little bit about this group. And there are many investing groups in India and all that stuff. So first of all, don't fall prey to these things. Don't fall prey to this horrible pieces of advice you receive from people. I bought my first house fully cash, by the way, when I was 21 years old. Okay. And yeah, I mean, if you were my neighbor, you already know, like, so I don't have anything to prove here, but let me give you some knowledge here. Okay. So first of all, what these Reddit people do, like, I have written these points here actually. So first of all, what these Reddit people do is basically, what is this concept of, like, this it was such a moronic group. I mean, it was mind boggling actually. So let me tell you. So first of all, what they think is like FIRE, like you can just go on Reddit and you will be like India fire, something like that. There's groups are there, like, and it was the most shittiest piece of advice I have seen ever in my entire life. So let me tell you what it is. First, get a job. Okay, like they're like, okay, whatever job you, nobody will focus on income. Okay, like nobody will be like, have you ever thought, like, have you ever in your entire life heard from someone, hey, you should actually make more money, you should like focus on your income? You will, every time you will hear from people that save money, invest money. Have you ever heard from anybody that, like, hey, you should in fact make more money? I will tell you, man, you should make more money. Like the house, there must be a house in your mind that you want to buy, right? You need to make more money for that. Like there must be a car you need to drive, you want to own. You need to make more money. Why would you travel if you're just making 1 to 2 lakhs per month? It's a waste of time. You should literally like focus on making more money. And why people, like, I don't know why people don't focus on making more money. It's crazy, man. So the first point is, what they do is they have a shitty job. Okay, they have a shitty job, and they're like, whatever the job is, they are okay with it. And it's so funny that everyone in the entire world are really like okay, and they deep down they're not really okay. They are like, they pretend or they fool themselves that they're okay with the income level that they are. I just tell people, like, just match my ITR. Try to have a bigger ITR than what I do. Try to pay more taxes than what I do. Like, so and I am competitive. Like, you may not be competitive. I am competitive. I wanted to be basically the youngest self-made millionaire in the country, and I did become that. It's an incredible feeling, to be honest. It's an incredible feeling. And yeah, so secondly, what they do, these Reddit people, is they first have a shitty job, and then what they do is they say, invest everything into stocks and mutual funds and all this crap. And you'll be like, Are, but like, you get like 25% return and you can make huge amount of money and you can retire. The whole point of this group, or not necessarily even this Reddit group, but like, even if you don't join a Reddit group, doesn't mean you don't have that kind of mindset. If you have that mindset, you belong to the same group, basically the same group of people, same group of moronic shitty people who think they know everything and who are extremely narcissistic about life, and they think that they know literally everything. You don't know anything. You don't know anything. Okay, I'll tell you, you do not know anything. So in the Bible it is written that basically, he who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. So if you humble yourself and you learn, that's how I have been doing it. Like, anybody who has met me personally will tell you that, I will confidently tell you, but I will not my cheat code to success is basically like humility. I need to know what I do not know. That's the most important thing, I feel. So what they do, they basically they invest into stocks, they invest into mutual funds. Then the third point is, they live a shitty life. Okay, they live a horrible life. They like, they literally save up on even the food what they eat. Like, they will buy a cheaper bread, they will buy a cheaper milk. And it's just, I mean, especially if you meet a woman, and if a girl sees something like that, she will be repelled, man. Like, I'm telling you, frugality repels women, and I have had my fair share of experience with women, although I don't show online. But I'll tell you, man, it's like, it's all these frugality shit, it's horrible. It's horrible. You shouldn't do all those things. Saving 100 rupees on a bread is not gonna, it's not gonna do anything. Next is, what they do is hope that after many years you have a great corpus. Okay, they want to build a corpus, and then next what they do is they fear to spend money for the rest of their life. That's what they do. So first, have a shitty job. Second, invest everything into stocks or mutual funds. Third, live a shitty life. Live a very, very shitty life. Like, I mean, it's, like, you basically guys know, like, somebody who lives like that, fourth is hope that after many years you have a great corpus. And fifth is you will then fear to spend money for the rest of your life. That's what they do. So first of all, speaking about this corpus thing, first of all, they're like, अरे हमको ना 2 crore का corpus बनाने का है. They want to build 2 crores or 2.5 or 3 or whatever it might be, and they don't realize that in the same country, like, I live in the same country and I have a car which is their corpus. It's so crazy, man. And my other car is another their corpus, and I didn't even talk about my houses yet. So I mean, what my point is, honestly speaking, like, they fear to spend money, and I feel nobody should fear to spend money. Only a less valuable person basically in life fears to spend money. And you should not you should not fear to spend money. You should not live a life that you fear for every single thing. You don't need to fear to spend money. In fact, if you like, everybody's kind of like, see, this one of the great things I think I wrote down was everybody's chasing their downfall. I am chasing what I want. So everybody is like saving for their rainy day and all that stuff. And I'll tell you one thing about this, what I learned from God, honestly speaking. I'll tell you about that. So people, what they think, they are like, we'll save for a rainy day, and all these things. It's all bullshit. Honestly speaking, it's, everything is moronic, everything is bullshit. You're like, you literally think, first of all, I have spent more than a decade in God, in the Bible. I sometimes preach also, by the way. I cast out demons. I heal the sick people, people who are sick. I heal those people, and I don't show it publicly. Neither I charge any money for it, and I'll never ever charge any money for talking about God ever in my entire life. But what I've learned from like putting time in God is nothing. First of all, certainty only comes through faith. Okay, you have to put your trust in God. That's how certainty comes. Just because you can see good digits in your bank account doesn't mean your life is certain. Okay, that you just, like, people don't even know like how to live their life, and that's why they should first of all pay attention to God, pay attention to Jesus. Look at read the Bible. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you read the Bible, and first of all, man, this is one of the greater things why I became really successful is because of Jesus. The reason is, like, I learned the spiritual the whole, basically, what I tell to people is, your spiritual health is what your earthly success is also, kind of. Because you can be like Ambani and not have good health or anything, like, it's not, it's of no use, right? You can see people who are rich but having miserable lives, and that doesn't mean also that just because you have 100 crores in your bank account, like, your life is set. It's not like that. You have not seen tomorrow. Only God has seen tomorrow. So you have to be humble, and only a humble person can follow God, first of all. So you have to, what I'm telling you guys is, if you want to really be successful, my main advice, actually, more than anything, is follow God. And yeah, I mean, if you need any knowledge about God, you can definitely message me on Instagram as well. I sometimes talk about God here and there on my live also, and all that stuff. But my main advice is the certainty thing. Even if you have, let's say, 10 crores in your bank account, you may feel that you are certain about money. You may feel that your life is certain. At least your life is not certain. Like nothing is certain. Even if you invest, if you have invested, and first of all, man, like even there people have fear that are 10 crores ko kuch to ho gaya, to like what if my bank account freezes or something like that. But even if I say ki, let's say it doesn't, let's say nothing goes wrong with your money, but something will go wrong. What it could go wrong, right? Something could go wrong with anything. You can die, you can like have any kind of disease and all that. Who's going to save you from that? Only God can save you from that. And that's why when I started learning about life, when I started about all these things, that's how basically like that's how basically I started focusing primarily on God. Like I put most of my time in following Jesus, honestly speaking, guys. And it has been incredible. It has been life changing. And I live an incredible life, honestly speaking, guys. I live an incredible life in God. And yeah, it's like you faith. If you just like you can ask ChatGPT about faith, what it's written in the Bible. You have to first have faith in God, and you have to put trust in God, and that's how your entire life goes. That's how literally like your entire life goes in a very, very good direction. That's how it works. First of all, it's not you creating a certainty. You cannot create certainty. He who gave you life, you have to first follow him. That's how you basically can then achieve something in life in the actual terms, not in these. And the problem is why I have to come on YouTube and have to talk about these things, because I don't see anybody of my age talking about these things, especially in India. And I feel yeah, that's why I have a responsibility to guide people in the right direction in that. So yeah, so don't think of uncertainty. First of all, like you cannot create certainty. First of all, you cannot create certainty. Even if you make money, even if you save money, you cannot create any kind of certainty. That is the first thing. There are people who are also poor. There are people who make way less money, and I'm pretty sure they might be happier than most people. There might be happier than even billionaires. Somebody also asked, like you must have seen, like somebody had asked Elon Musk that something, I don't know, like he said basically like nobody would want to, like he's like, he's not sure that if anybody would ever want to trade their life with him, because his life basically what he meant is miserable. And the problem is what happens is that if people lack God in their life, what they think is they make anything their God. They make money their God, and they will do this. And I'm telling you, first of all, you don't even know how long you're going to live. You're going to keep your money here on earth, and it's just a very miserable path to take, honestly. For me, my mindset about wealth is like, I like whatever I like, and I just want whatever I want. That's how if I want a Lambo, I will buy a Lambo. That's why I bought a 911, because I wanted to buy a 911. I wanted to buy a house, I bought a house. But I did this. The difference is that nobody did that at my age. That's the difference. And the reason is because I only focused on, I had the clarity, like I had the clarity which I'm trying to basically give here. So what my point here basically is that you should not focus on saving any money. If you have like even if you save about 30% of your 25 to 30% of what you make is good enough. But the problem is I cannot create a formula, like, and a formula will never exist. If you are making like 10 crores a month, you don't need to save like 3 crores. Like, you see what I'm saying? You don't need to. Even if you spend 7 crores, you don't need to, like, that's what I'm saying basically. So it's not the percentage and all that. There's all these crappy horrible channels. Stop following these channels. I never followed any. First of all, I never watched any Indian podcast. Okay, I never watched any Indian YouTube channel. I don't have any. I love India, I love the country, but I don't love the Indian YouTubers, because they lack profoundly knowledge. They lack fundamentals. They don't know anything. So I wouldn't, like, I personally, I have my choice. I don't basically watch any YouTube channel who's giving advice from India. I like Indian music. I love Indian music and all that stuff. In anything apart from like giving me advice, I don't watch. I don't watch anything. Everything else I watch Indian, literally, like Indian movies. I watch every single thing. Indian YouTubers, vloggers, everything. But I'm not gonna take any advice from that. Not in a. I'm not talking in a racist way. It's just that. I mean, like, that fundamentals have been wrong. Like, compared to, like, the cultural fundamentals are a bit wrong, is what I feel. So yeah, so cultural in terms of money, basically. So what I was saying was, so yeah, next is, what you should do is, you should just focus on income. Like, don't focus on saving money, focus on income. That's what you should do. Let's say if you're making, like, 2 lakhs a month. Okay, let's say you're making 2 lakhs a month, you make 24 lakhs a year. How much will you really, like, save out of it? Like, if you're living in, let's say, whatever city you live in, like, you live in Mumbai, you live in Bangalore, you live in Pune, Delhi, wherever, you literally, like, how much money will you save? And especially, and this advice is not for 60-year-olds, and I'm pretty sure 60-year-olds have no reason to watch my content anyways. This advice is for people of my age group. Like, around my age group is what I'm giving advice to, like, basically about 16 to, let's say, 35, something like that. You can, even if you're 40, this advice applies to you as well. But if you're, like, 50 and you want to, like, I mean, honestly, people say that, never too late and all that stuff. I mean, see, yeah, I feel it could be true. If you think all of a sudden you change your entire life's perspective, your entire worldview of your life, you change. All of a sudden, when you're 50, you want to live life. Yeah, then you can live life, but that's not the way to do it. If you are young, that's when you live life. When I mean, that's what I'm saying, basically, guys. Like, you should just make more money. Like, if you don't have a car, buy a car. If you like traveling, travel. Like, that's what I would say. Don't live, and don't be like, if you save your 1 year of your income or 2 years of your income, which is like about 48 lakhs or 50 lakhs, whatever, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to change. Like, you are going to buy a shitty house. You're going to buy a horrible house which you will feel good about for 2 years, and then you will not feel good about it afterwards. And you'll see YouTubers buying houses and all, like, and YouTubers at least make money. You will see other people of the age group, because when people get jealous, like, a lot of people are jealous of me, by the way. When people get jealous is when you see at your age group, like, somebody living the life, right? And my point here is, you want to be on the other side, not the other side, not on the jealous side. You want to be on the side where other people are jealous of you, not like you are being jealous of other people. That's what I would say. So what my point is, don't focus on all these things. There are horrible advices which exist. Take the narrow path. Like, the path to destruction is huge, like, it's broad. Take the narrow path. Take a path where people usually just overlook. I would recommend 1000% take that kind of a path in life. And yeah, a couple of last things here is, if your dream life looks like unemployment, your dream is too small. Their whole point of investing, like, is like, basically, why would you want to invest? Lastly, let me give you two things. First of all, investing is not going to make you money. Investing is not going to make you income. And how many people anyways have few crores lying down here and there, so that you are, like, getting hope, after that you're getting like 10 lakhs a month or 8 lakhs a month from it. You don't have 5 crores, and if you have 5 crores in your account, you should have at least made that money yourself. And if you don't have that, if you didn't make that money, then I don't have any advice to tell you, because you're just going to end up in clubs. Like, you're just going to end up in parties and clubs. I have never ever been to a club ever in my life, not even once. Even after having supercars and all that stuff, I have never been to a club. Neither I have drank basically. Neither I have drank any alcohol in my entire life. And I like to live this way. I like really to live this way. So secondly, work isn't the enemy, it's the reason you wake up with purpose. Okay, So work, they what people think first of all is you want to retire. Like people think that they want to retire and they want to basically retire and just live on a, like, just chill on a beach. The problem with that is I have actually, I've had seasons of my life where I have also done something like that, because I end up making in a month, every month I can buy a house basically in India. That's kind of the kind of money I make. I have tried like a few, like I went for like, I think the max I've been is like about 1.5 month or something. I just didn't work. And what happened was, man, I started feeling so horrible, because like there's nothing in life to do. Like what is there in life to do? I mean, and especially I love my work. I love the clients, I love the client calls, and I love to basically do the entire work what I do, like training the employees and all those things. But what I'm saying basically, guys, is that I once did that. Literally, I couldn't last more than 1.5 months. I couldn't be not working for more than 1.5 months. And my friends know it. It's horrible. It's a very horrible feeling. I'm telling you, don't do that. Okay, so don't do that. All these things, it's just gonna make you go crazy. And I can't even imagine, like, years and years, like 10 years and 20 years, and retire at 35 and all that crap, like living a miserable life. Unless, see, God made you in a way that you can basically output value. Like you can have a value output from yourself, like you can give value to people, you can basically like produce value. But why would you stop producing value is what my point is. Okay, why would you stop producing value? So and I have been, like, in this phase, so I know what I'm talking about basically in that. So next, lastly, and so lastly, what I'm saying is, if you hate your work, you are doing the wrong work. Okay, if you hate something where you need to, like, see, I'm not saying that like you should do a job. I've never done a single job in my entire life, unfortunately or fortunately. In fact, fortunately, I'd say, like, I've never done ever. Since I was 16, I started a marketing agency, my marketing agency, Red Fire Digital Media. If you hate your work, you should that's the wrong work. That's the wrong work what you're doing. So stop doing that work. Just like, do the right work where you don't need, like, create a life basically you don't need a retirement from. That's what I would say. Create a life where you don't need a retirement from. Create your work in a way that you don't need a retirement from. Because why would you need a retirement, man? Like, it's horrible, honestly speaking. So you should do the work. And in terms of the work, I mean, see, like, the best thing which works is, like, if you get US people to pay money to you, that works the best. Like, if you want to make the most money, forget about India, forget about collecting money in India. Make Indian government also richer, make yourself also richer. Like, because when you get money to India, the Indian GDP increases, by the way. Like, basically the wealth in India increases, because it's almost like you're importing money, right? I mean, you're basically getting money to India, not in a laundering way, but like on your bank statement. And the best thing is that GST is not applicable. When you receive payments from international clients, you don't have to pay that 18% GST. That's the best thing about it. And plus, I love my work that I create jobs. I've created like hundreds of jobs, and yeah, I love that. So my work consists of creating more jobs in India. So my point is basically, guys, make more money, live the life to the fullest, and don't listen to shitty people's advices who are pessimistic, who are always looking at the downfall and all that crap. Make more money. And if you want help to make money, I know how to make money, and I have changed my life personally. So if you want to learn how to start a marketing agency, my faceless agency program, where it's a one-on-one coaching, it's not a course. I don't sell courses, by the way. I just teach a few people each month one-on-one Zoom calls. I give them employees from my side who become their employees. And it's the only system in the entire world which works in this way, by the way. So if you want to start your own faceless agency, where you don't even have to show your face to anybody. You can, if you want to join my coaching, you will love it. I'm telling you, you will absolutely love it. So you can just message me faceless, this one word, faceless. Okay, faceless on Instagram. My Instagram is below. The link, it's redfire underscore Pratham. The link is basically in the description. So just DM me faceless on my Instagram if you want to join my faceless agency program, which is it's a 45 days one-on-one coaching basically, where I teach you how to start a successful marketing agency, and I provide you the employees. You don't even have to find people, you don't have to find the employees and all that stuff. You can message me faceless and I'll send you an explanatory video where the system, the faceless agency system is taught. It's a proper video. You'll have, you just have a look. And yeah guys, so that's pretty much it. I lastly, what I would like to say, follow God, follow God. Stop focusing on the tomorrow. Okay, like all this horrible thing, you have not even seen your life tomorrow. Okay, so stop focusing on all that stuff. If you make only like more than 1 crore, for example, in a month, or let's say more than, for you it would be, for most people, like let's say 10 lakhs a month, for example. If you're making more than 10 lakhs a month, you will never think of saving money, because you'll already have money saved up anyways. That's how it works. So focus on making money. Investing is not it's gonna waste your life, man. I'm telling you, investing is gonna waste your life away, and you don't need hundreds of crores or 10 crores or 30 crore when you're 50 years old, by the way, or when you're 60 years old. You don't need that money. You will be a grandpa at that age. You don't need 50 crores at that age. Like, you need supercars at this age. You need to travel properly at this age. You need to meet clients abroad, and you need to live a fast life at this age, not like live a retired life at this age. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you want to join faceless agency or want to know more about it, just message me faceless on Instagram, guys. Take care. Bye.